Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Personality Pick where we interview your favorite MMA media personalities and UFC, PFL, Bellator fighters. And on the show this week is Themba Gorimbo coming on after his big win UFC in the welterweight division this past Saturday. Themba, how are you doing?
Can you still see me?
Yes, I could still see you.
Okay, the electricity just went off.
Oh, good.
I mean, I'm good. I'm good, brother. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and it's a blessing to be here and just to be alive. I'm grateful.
Man, it's an honor to have you on the show. First and foremost, congrats on the big win this past Saturday. I mean, you're first in the UFC. How did it feel leading up to the fight, and did anything change given that you got the octagon jitters out of the way, the nerves are gone after that first fight?
Actually, I was not nervous from the first fight. I never get nervous, and I mean, mostly I get nervous when I sign the contract, and I get nervous throughout the camp. But once I will make the work, I am fine. But I feel like I distributed my energy a lot in the first fight, around. I mean, during fight week, just being excited to be in the UFC. So that was, I think, my downfall in the last in the first fight, and also having to just surround myself with the right energy and stuff. It was also part of it, but at the end of the day, when I lose, it was good, because you know what, I wouldn't have had this victory today if I didn't lose that first fight. So that first fight was the last, first and last time I think you ever see me lose a fight in the UFC. I'm going all the way to the belt. I've got the right mindset, the right team, the right structure now. So I feel like nobody can touch me, nobody can stop me in the UFC. Let's see.
I love the mentality. Now, before we dive a little bit deeper into this past Saturday night, what led you into pursuing a career in martial arts? Was there something in specific that changed your perspective on what you were doing back in the day, or did you always have a love for martial arts from the jump?
Um, I started MMA because of a movie called Never Back Down. I watched a movie called Never Back Down, and I Never Back Down. So
Great
I,
movie.
yeah, a movie Never Back Down got me into MMA. Started with a little bit of jiu-jitsu. That's why maybe sometimes I try to take people's backs in the fights, and then fought my way through the ranks at amateur. Fought my way through the ranks at pro level here in South Africa. Became a champion. Went to Abu Dhabi, failed there, and went to New Orleans, succeeded there. Then I ended up in the UFC. So it has been a roller coaster of a journey. It's a journey that probably can inspire a lot of people, that if you don't give up in your dream, if you don't give up on your journey, you can become anything. You can become everything if you want. And I'm just grateful and pleased that God gave me this opportunity to be able to be that vessel, to be able to be that person that can carry this weight and spread it out there, give hope to people, especially here in Africa, the kids in Africa here, that you know what, if Themba can do it, I can also do it, because of my background or because of where I come from, with nothing, and then probably I'll be everything soon.
Absolutely, and I believe you are the first fighter in the UFC from Zimbabwe. Unless I'm forgetting
No,
someone
no, no.
else.
We have Blood Diamond who trains with Easy,
That
so
is
we got
correct.
Blood Diamond.
That is correct.
He was the first one, but I'm the first one to win a fight in the UFC from Zimbabwe. So it's a blessing.
There you
He made history by becoming the first. I made my own history by becoming the first one to win the fight in the UFC. Destiny is different sometimes, and I'm grateful to be sharing this stage of my life with him as well in the UFC. And may the Lord bless him with a victory next time he fights. If he's not
Absolutely.
fighting
Now,
me, if he's not fighting me.
no, I hope you guys don't cross paths like that. I'm pretty sure a lot of kids from Zimbabwe specifically look up to you both just for making it to the stage. So props
Yeah,
to
man. Yeah,
you and
man.
props
Yeah,
to
man.
Blood
Yeah,
Diamond
man.
for
That's
this.
very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Now,
Yeah, I don't want to ever fight my homeboy, but it's a business where it's a cutthroat business. You never know what happens in the future. But yeah, you don't want to fight your homeboy. It's not right.
exactly. Were there any training difficulties that you faced when you first started training?
No, not really much, man. when I started training MMA, I've had a lot of injuries in my body, especially my shoulders. I've had 2 operations. I've had a nose operation. I've had a hernia operation just from this sport. I've had a lot of years taken away from me by injuries in this sport. But having that said, my record does not speak volumes in terms of like how many fights I should have, because basically I spend most time of my career injured. But now I'm blessed with a healthy body. I'm blessed with a healthy mind. I'm blessed with a healthy vision, and I know that I will become what I want to be, and nothing is going to stop me. And so the only challenge that I've had was those.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking a little bit more about those injuries, I mean, fighting with injuries is something that almost every fighter has experienced throughout their career, and it goes away from the limelight. Like it doesn't get enough attention, and fighters tend to fight injured more often than not. But whether they're bigger injuries or smaller injuries, that's the main difference. How would you say you've overcome those shoulder injuries and the nose injury in that lead up to the UFC?
I've actually, my first professional fight, I dislocated my shoulder 7 seconds into the fight. I kept fighting. I kept fighting with a dislocated shoulder. I triangled the guy in the second round with one arm, and the next thing after I finished the fight, I woke up in hospital with my shoulder back in. I remember going to the
Mhm.
ambulance, but I don't remember anything after that. Woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, where am I? Where's my coaches? And my arm is in a sling. And that was my first dislocation in a fight. I kept fighting because I had bills to pay. I wouldn't have lost that fight because I wanted to win so badly. So the shoulder was not going to stop me. And the referee saw that my shoulder was dislocated. But I kept fighting. I kept persevering. And you know what? I actually got a finish. I actually have 2 finishes with the shoulder dislocations in my career. So I got a triangle finish on my first professional fight. And then I think the third professional fight, yeah, the third professional fight, I fought a guy and I dislocated my shoulder during the fight again. The same shoulder that I dislocated on my first fight. Dislocated the shoulder, and then I ended up finishing him with a dust choke in that fight. And I got the final fight of the night bonus, and I got the submission of the night bonus in that same fight. So
That
I've
must
had
feel
I've had my shoulders dislocating twice in fights, and I won, and once in a fight that I lost. But I kept fighting, with one arm in Abu Dhabi, and this was like most recent. But I kept fighting and I lost on points. I dislocated my shoulder 28 seconds mark into the fight, and I kept fighting. I kept fighting. I kept fighting, hoping that it will happen the same way that it happened before in the beginning. But it was the highest level. The guy knew what he was doing. He was more experienced than me, and he capitalized on the opportunity. But I wish if I was him in that position, I would have finished that fight. Fighting a guy with one arm, I'll finish the fight definitely.
absolutely, and I mean, a lot of
Maybe
people will
that's why
probably
he's not
tell
in the
us.
UFC and I am.
There you go. You stole the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like it's crazy because the guy was 18-3, and he had beaten even a PFL champion whatsoever, but he couldn't finish me while I had one arm. So it's crazy. It's
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah.
Now, after the fight this past Saturday,
Yes.
go in there, amazing performance. You get the knockdown. You almost get Takashi out of there. You fought through. You persevered, and then you described this week as the best week of your life. What made this week so significant to you besides the win
Oh
with the
my
title?
God, this gets me excited. Now you're waking me up. So what
There
makes
we go.
me more
I had to
excited
build it
is
up a little
this.
bit. Come on.
Yes. So what makes me more excited about this is actually not the win I had on Saturday. I was happy that I won, but I was sick, so I didn't really feel that joy. But I'm happy. But having that said, I auctioned my fight kit, and you know what? When I auctioned my fight kit, I actually ended up getting $5,000 for my fight kit that I'm gonna use to go and build a borehole back home in Zimbabwe, in my rural areas, and knowing my way growing up, knowing how I grew up, and just knowing that what this means for the people in my village, in my rural areas, that what it will mean. It's just like wow. I'm so happy. Like this is like a dream come true. You don't understand. To be able to go do something that no one has ever done in my village, to go put a borehole. I'm about to go change some lives. These are my people. Like I don't need anything from them. I'm their child. I'm the village child. I'm their child, and to go there and just put this water pump over there and just be able to see the people smiling, to see the people having hope, and be able to use this water for irrigation purposes, drinking purposes. And some people might even retire. Like one of my cousins is like, hey man, I might stop what I'm doing and go home and just start farming, because you know what? They didn't have this opportunity. This is a lot of money. Like people don't know. This is a lot of money that it can change a lot of lives. It can change a lot of lives, and people are always looking. Bro, I'm gonna put this borehole in the middle of the village, and it must be for everybody. Or what I'm gonna do is, because I got a little bit of land there back home, so this is my vision. Between that, I got that part where I needed to put. I want to put it, or I go put it right at this land where, like it's our family land, whatever. They must use that land for free, fence it up, and use it as a garden where they all can grow vegetables and stuff. Like this is my vision. This is how I just see it. I'm the boss right now because I'm the guy with that money. I'm the guy that put that stuff. So I will choose. I'll just be like, neutral or whatever. Put it here. I'm gone. I don't have to have thank you from them. I don't care. But what I just want to do is to be able to remind them I'm there, because sometimes I don't go home often. I don't even remember last time I was in my village, probably like 3 years ago. That's the last time I was in my village. So I don't go home often, but when I go there, I make big things. I make big impact. The last time I was there, I was paying school fees for people in my village when I became a UFC champion. This is 2019 actually.
Mhm.
I auctioned the fight show that I used for that fight. I got 30,000 rands. That's like $2,000. I went and paid school fees for the whole year for 60 kids in my old school. So those are the type of things I do when I go home. And it's been 3 years later. I mean, 4 years later, actually, I'm going there now. I'm going to be able to do this boho, and I've got extra money that I got also. So I raised $9,500. So I'm going to take that extra money again and what? Try to pay as many people's school fees as possible. I want to try to pay the whole school fees, and relieve parents for those 3 months, for a term, or for those 6 months. So I can relieve people for those 6 months. They don't have to say thank you to me, because I don't need that. I'm just happy to be doing that for myself, for my own well-being. It sounds selfish, but I'm a person that is happy when I'm helping. Me, I'm a person that is happy when I'm helping. Sometimes to my detriment, to a point where I'm broke to $7.
Now, Themba, that speaks a lot about about your character. I mean, helping out the people.
No, it's nice. It's really nice to help, and it's also nice to talk about it when you help. Like I'm like
I
I
can
know I'm
tell.
gonna
I'm
go
sure they
do
can
this,
tell.
and you talk about, like, I don't have to have these people say thank you to me, but because I know they are my people, they are from my village. Uh, Somewhere along the line we are related, so it's fine. I'm not even trying to go and change my own relatives' lives. I'm trying to change the whole community's life. They can start doing irrigation. They can have something they never had for years. As I grow in the UFC, probably I'll end up getting electricity in the whole village. Who knows, man? Those are the goals. But for now, I must enjoy this moment. That's why I say this is the best week of my life, because I'm so happy.
That's amazing. And again, that speaks loud about your character, because what you described after your first fight in the UFC, it wasn't such a pleasant experience with the people back home. And you mentioned how the people you
No, no,
opened.
no, 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 no. Back home in Zimbabwe, people love me, man.
Okay.
I live in South Africa. People here, people, the thing called crab mentality.
Hmm.
So if one crab is trying to get out of a bucket, there is those crabs that are like, hey, if we can't have that, you cannot have that. So like people were kind of
I
like
see.
happy that I lost some of them, and you can kind of like see it, man. Like you can see like some people were glad I lost some people, and sometimes you are like, if I won, you would have benefited. But at the end of the day, people rubbed in my face that I lost. People were trying to break me. spiritually, I was broken before I left here. Mentally, I was broken, to be honest. There were times, even during the fight camp, I don't know how many times I cried by myself because of everything. I can't even, I don't even know why I crying, but there were times I would just cry by myself. It was tough. Even just before the weigh-ins, the official face-offs, the lady from the UFC, she asked me to do an interview because she said, you are one of the 3 fighters we need to talk about when you're walking out. So can we have a chat about how life has been in Miami? And I just started bursting into tears, and I started crying so much, and I couldn't even talk to her. I just kept saying to her, it's hard, but you know what? The last one was the last time. Knowing that I'd put the right work, yeah, it was not nice. It was not a nice journey. Yeah, I hope the Lord forgives these people, because some of these people I've helped them, and it's not nice. And people want to say whatever they want to say, like I'm a guy that is very vocal. If I see something, I call a spade a spade. I don't try to mince my words. And yeah, like what's funny, like some of these people, like they got offended that I said what I said at the press conference. So like one of them is like one of the guys, man, he was not even there, he was not even part of the whole thing. He's just trying to insert himself into the whole conversation. He's like, oh, did you mean me? And what I said, I'm like, bro, don't make it about yourself. You know what, it actually has been about yourself first than the athlete. And it's a sad story, because you know what, we shouldn't be in these conversations like this, and we should always try to uplift each other. And if I have trained with you in the past and you see me doing well right now, try to uplift me, try to applaud me and say, great, do well, do well. Just because I have moved to Miami and I'm training with these coaches does not mean I'm saying anything bad. Like maybe it does reflect like I'm saying bad when I said what I said, but what do you want me to do? Keep quiet about it, never talk about it, so that one kid from Africa, one day people drop him like that, he kills himself? No. I want someone one day, if that thing happened to somebody one day, I want them to follow the same path I did, pick themselves up, go out there, conquer yourself, conquer for yourself. That's why I tell these stories, because it's not because I'm telling it for myself. I'm not trying to tell it for myself, but I'm not gonna keep quiet. These stories need to be told, because you know what? You never know. It will happen to someone one day that might not be as mentally strong as I was, that might end up killing themselves. Because you know what? There were times I thought the same thing in my head, but I didn't get to a point where I feel like I need to kill myself. But there were a point in time where I feel like, let's say, in my head, I'm like, I don't have love back home. If I lose this fight with this Takashi guy, what will happen? What will I do? Must I just stay here in Miami, hide away from people? What? So
It's like that
people,
saying where they say the people who are close to you will be close to you when you do good and even closer when you're doing bad. That's a true depiction of what you're trying to describe here.
yeah, I don't know what you said there. You said they will be closer to you when you do bad. No, man, people were not closer to me when I lost, man. People
But
were
that's
not
the
closer
what
to
I'm
me when I
saying is
lost.
the people who
I
are
was by
truly
myself
closer.
on that plane to England, laying over 12 hours to go to Miami on a cheap plane, on a cheap flight, so that I can just go and try to chase my dream and get away from being rubbed, people rubbing this loss into my face. Because you know what, I was getting broken every single day. And on top of that, I'm broke, because you know what, after that fight I got paid $10,000, right? Because it's 10-10 when you lose. Unfortunately, it's your first fight. People blame the UFC. No, the UFC does great. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that can change lives. But unfortunately, you get take 30%. After 30%, you have to pay your manager a certain percentage. Then I had $2,000 I had to pay again for to be deducted from my flights for whatever reason, that I had extra flights that were booked, and certain rooms that were booked. Like, and I ended up going home with probably $1,000, because no money. And then to be in a position where you don't have money, and to be in a position where you land in South Africa, where you stay, you get an eviction notice to say, hey man, I'm sorry. Because I was trying to buy the house where I was staying from this lady, but I had promised that after that fight, it was stupid of me to bank on the fight, that if I win the fight, I'll be able to buy the house. And then when I lost the fight, I told her I can't buy the house. And she's like, I need to sell my house, get out of here. But guess what? I'm hearing the rumors right now that she evicted me out of the house, and still to this day, there's no one in that house.
Wow.
There's no one that is staying in that house right now, and
She made a mistake.
there's many thoughts of me saying, but like I just said to myself, one day I want to be able to go and buy the whole complex. I want to work so hard and go buy in the whole complex and never stay there. That's what I want to do. um yeah, like those type of things, that were the things that were happening to me. No money, eviction notice, friends looking at you like you're funny. It was just hard. It was very hard journey. And when I'm enjoying it, like I said on one of my posts, they rubbed it in my face when I lost. Let me rub it in their face when I win. I'm gonna keep on posting whatever I want to post on my Instagram.
As you
How
should.
I feel I must post, I will post, because you know what? When I lost, fuck, everybody was rubbing the loss in my face. When I say everybody, I mean 99% of the people were rubbing
Mhm.
the loss in my face, kept on reminding me I lost. You know, and when you lose your first fight in the UFC and you don't have people trying to uplift you, bro, you can kind of drown. You can kind of drown, bro.
That is true.
You can drown, and people don't recognize these things, and people don't see these things. But as much as we are athletes and superhumans in the cage, we are also just as low level human as possible. When things do not go right.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the UFC, there's a common theme with most champions that have been champion in the UFC cage, that they've tended to lose their first fight and then go on to have tremendous careers. It's an actual
Uh-huh.
statistic. So if
I know,
anyone
I know,
who
I know, I
does
know.
have the
I
first
have actually
fight,
said that to
uh,
myself, and someone said that to me. There's like, this is some fun from America. I get so much love in America. To be honest, when I'm in America, I get so much love. People love me in America. Like, it's so much real, like surreal. Like when I'm in America, I get so much love when I'm there than
and
I
you can
get when
see
I'm
in the
here.
chat here too, you're getting a ton of love here in the chat, and we all
Yeah,
support you.
yeah. Like I don't know. It's a thing. Like I was saying, maybe people get drawn to me in America than they get drawn here, because it's like a, I don't know, is it called top puppy syndrome here in Africa, where like you feel like this person must not do well? I don't know how to describe it in a way, but I feel like people here, they feel like inadequate, so they feel like it's
Mhm.
almost like self-hate. If I'm hating myself and I see someone trying to love himself, I must try to drag that person down. And people in America, like I get a lot of love in America. I mean, I don't want to lie to you. People in America, they love me. Wherever I go in America, I'm loved.
You wanna know why?
Denver, when I was in Denver, people loved me in Denver. When I was in Miami now, my God, people love me in Miami. When I'm in Vegas after the fight, bro. Or when I was in New York, when I was on my connection flight, people were coming to me, giving me love. I'm like, hey, man, we never, getting inspired by my story. And I'm like, oh, how did these people recognize me? They're like, are you Themba? Like, it's crazy. I
Do
get
you
so
wanna
much
know why
love in a
the
foreign country than I do in my own country, or in my place, in a place where I live. But at the end of the day, it's a natural progression of life. I hope some people can get inspired by my story. These people that feel like they have this self-hate of themselves, where you feel like this guy is trying to get out of this bucket. He needs to come back into this bucket. Especially a person like me that talks a lot. I don't think I talk a lot, but I just talk what is on my mind. I don't hold back. I don't have that tongue that you can cut off things. What I feel is what I say, and it is what it is sometimes, and it offends people because everybody wants certain person, certain people to bow down to certain people, and I'm not gonna bow down to nobody. I'm trying to chase my own dream. I'm trying to go after my own visions, because when it's all said and done, it's my name on the line, not anyone else.
Absolutely, and I think the reason why people support you so much in the United States, and I mean everywhere all around the world now, is the story that you present is something that can be inspirational for one, and then also it's a story that brings a lot of motivation for those who were in a similar situation, are in a similar situation, and just being able to tell the difference between the genuine people and non-genuine people in your life, that's gonna help out in the long run, obviously. But
Yeah,
picking
it has been
someone
helping
yeah,
me. It has been helping me to this point. That's why I'm in the UFC, right? trust me, there's so many other better athletes in Africa than me, but you can kind of like see some of them are getting held back because they are trying to people please and whatsoever. I had to pay my own flights to go and fight in Abu Dhabi. That's why in Abu Dhabi, that Palm Sports, that's why they respected me so much that they bought my kit for $5,000, because you know what? I paid my dues. In 2021, I paid my own flights to go and fight on their show just because I wanted to fight in front of Dana White. I paid my flights, my coach's flight on top of that, and my visas. I paid for those, and I went to Abu Dhabi, lost that fight, trying to impress Dana, so that I can get signed in the UFC. And I didn't. I lost the fight. I paid my own flights to go and fight in Fury FC in New Orleans, Louisiana. I got there, fought the fight, won the fight. Then I paid my own flight to go to watch Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. That's the day at that after party. That's where I met Sean Sharby when Corey Sandhagen gave me the ticket to go and watch the fights with him. Lord bless Corey. He was so nice to me.
Shout out to Corey.
So like before people start to judge me, before people start to be jealous about my life, they must look at these things and be like, this guy, he paid for his flights. They must go back and rewind their life. They must go back and rewind the sleepless nights I had when I used to train at 3 a.m. in the morning so that I can train at least 1.5 hours before I start training clients in the gym at 5 a.m. They must go and look at that before they start being jealous, before they start being this kind of bringing this negativity to me. They must look at those things and be like, okay, cool, we get it. Get inspired by my story. Don't get jealous of it. Don't be envious of it. Get inspired by this story, because you know what? It's once in a lifetime you see a person that is probably like me, that goes for something, that attacks everything, that takes risks like me. And like I said, I do it for myself, obviously, to feed my family, but I want other people to be inspired by my story. I want other people to be lifted by my story, and especially people from Africa, the African kids that come from the same background as I come from, that they can do it. I came to South Africa without a passport as a border jumper. You know what is a border jumper? An illegal immigrant. Stayed on the streets for 2 weeks because I couldn't contact my cousins in Cape Town. Then I went to Cape Town, worked as a gardener, found this movie Never Back Down, and I went to a gym and started training. It's just a story that if you follow it and you want to be inspired, one day you can experience this level of happiness, like Adesanya said. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm thankful that I'm in this position.
And just referencing this comment, this guy Saeed Sabori, who's also my brother, he was asking about that quote that you were trying to reference from the Izzy and the Pereira fight. And
yeah, man, yeah.
It's
Easy. So you know what's funny? When I was in Miami, that's when that fight happened. I didn't go to the fight, but I watched the fight at the bar. And when the fight was happening, I was going through so much. I was training well, but mentally I was still not strong enough. I was training, but mentally I was still not strong enough. But the day that Adesanya was fighting, I woke up feeling some type of superhuman. I thought to myself, this guy is fighting a guy that put him to sleep twice, and that has beaten him, and he's so big. I know I have met Pereira, I've met Adesanya. I'm like, this guy is fighting so big.
Huge. He's
huge. I said, this guy is so huge, and the odds are against him, but he's still going after it. Then I made a post. If you go on the day of Adesanya, I made a post before the fight even. I'm like, I was inspired by this guy, Then after the fight, when he said that, I hope every single one of you get to feel this level of happiness one day in your life, but you will never, guess what? You never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something. When they kick you down, when they step on your neck, when they try to keep you down, you fortify your mind, rise, get that resolve, rise, and feel this level of happiness. That speech was almost like Adesanya was talking to me and telling me to rise. That's why like I even called this journey coming back, I said the rise, because I know this is the rise for me to go all the way to the belt. And sometimes you never know. That's why I said you never know who you might inspire. That's why you need to tell your story. When Adesanya told his story that day, when he said rise, fortify your mind, rise, he inspired me without knowing. I thought he was talking to me, and I was at the bar. So we need to share our stories if we are in positions of power, I think, and we can always elevate other people. I think.
Absolutely. And that's something that I kind of quoted from a conversation you were about to have with your manager the night before the fight, where you mentioned that you were sick and you had the flu and a very bad headache. And you said you had to fortify your mind to get through
Yeah,
that.
I had to
Tell me a
fortify
little
my
bit.
mind, man. I had to say to myself, it's either this or never, Then I said to myself, I'm not going home without money, firstly, and I'm not going home without a fight, secondly, and I'm not going home with a lose, thirdly. I was like, no ways, I'm going after this guy. During the fight, go watch the fight. When I was sitting on the stool, in the third round, when I was so tired, I looked at Takashi and I saw his coach looking at me. He's like, he's so tired. In my head, when he said he's so tired, I even said, this is for my kids.
Yep.
I said,
Mhm.
this is for my kids. That's what I said in my head. When his coach said something, I
You
said, this
said
is
it
for
out
my
loud
kids.
too. You said it
Yeah,
out
I said,
loud.
this is for my kids. Because you know what? I wanted to show this guy no ways he was gonna take this away from me, no matter how tired I was. You know? And that alone, that part alone can probably help someone go after something, do something better. But yeah, man, it's a blessing to be able to do this over and over and over and over again.
And I guess that that look from Takashi's coach, and since you heard him say that he's tired, I think that gave you that little extra motivation, that little extra breath
Oh yeah, I was
to
like,
go out
bro,
there
you're
in
not
that
gonna take
third
food
round.
off my kids' table. You're not gonna take smile off my kids' table, man. It's not gonna happen. I know your back is against the wall, but it's about me right now. So I had to do what I had to do, man. It is what it is.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
during the fight, did you feel like that sickness affected you in any way? Was it the cardio? Was it just
I was,
overall?
yeah, the sickness. I got tired. I got tired because I was so sick. I got tired.
You know,
If you watch any of my fights in the past, I never get tired like that, man. No, man. Me, I never get tired. No. And this was the best shape I've ever been in my life.
yeah, you look
And
great out
so
there.
yeah, so I know for a fact that yeah, they're calling me at the other interview now. I've got another one after you.
I got you. I got you. Just a couple more questions. Who would you like to fight next, ideally, in the UFC? Do you have a name or a couple of names?
I don't have a name. I'll just do what's natural. The UFC will give me a fight and I'll fight anybody. I've never turned down a fight and I'm on the guy that looks to fight. I don't have a name, but probably I'll be back in August, September, early September or August in USA. I like to fight in the USA soil because if you fight in other countries then you have to send your passport to go through this. Then I don't like to deal with that stuff. So
Mhm.
I want to fight in the USA because I've got a visa to be in the USA for I don't know how many years I can. So I
Absolutely.
want to fight in USA, and I'll push to fight in the USA. And
Oh, looks like we lost him, guys. He had a lot to say. That was such a good interview. I mean, I didn't really have to do much. Themba did all the talking, and he kind of made it easy on me. But wow, that was me just sitting here and taking that all in. Very inspirational. And I know Themba's not on here right now, but I wanted to thank him for being on and taking the time out of his day. I know he has another interview. His managers emailed me and said at the 30-minute mark they'd have to cut him off. And I wasn't gonna try and cut Themba off when he was saying that whole story. But yeah, that was one of the best ones to date. A very inspirational story from Themba Gorimbo, the UFC welterweight himself. I'm gonna try and get in contact with him to answer all of your guys' questions. I'm gonna have these saved, and wow, that it just left me speechless. But if you guys haven't already, please like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 300 subscribers, and be on the lookout for this next one. It's a big one. See y'all later.